I remember the afternoon she first asked to borrow something. I was perched on the edge of my sofa, laptop open to my latest batch of sketches, a new line of structured blazers with deconstructed lapels and asymmetrical seams, plus an experimental take on ribbed evening gowns. The sunlight slanted through the floor-to-ceiling windows of my studio apartment, making everything feel warm and urgent. Then my phone buzzed. It was Jenna. "Hey," her text read. "Got anything I could borrow tonight? I'm totally panicking about that gala." The gala, one of the city's biggest charity balls, where every guest was practically paparazzi bait. My heart did a little tingle. I knew something about this request was going to change everything. I typed back, trying to sound casual. "Of course, I've got that navy silk wrap dress you liked, plus the cream jumpsuit with the floral embroidery." My mind raced. Jenna and I had been friends since freshman year of art school, but lately we'd drifted. She'd taken a corporate marketing job at a beauty startup, and I'd been buried in fashion design, pitching collections to boutiques and pouring everything into my fledgling high-end line, Atelier Maro. A few hours later, she barged into my apartment like she always did, grinning, hair perfect, heels clicking on the concrete floors. She practically bounced to the closet. "Okay, show me everything." She grabbed the navy wrap dress, held it against her, and admired herself in the mirror I'd propped against the wall. "I'll need that by, say, midnight," I called after her. "I've got fittings tomorrow." She waved without looking. Sure, won't be long." Then she twirled, the silk swishing around her legs. She looked radiant, like a movie star. That night at the gala, she sent me a selfie, the wrap dress hugging her silhouette, the city lights glowing behind her. "Everyone wants to know where it's from," she captioned it. I texted back, "It's vintage. Found it at an estate sale." She laughed, "Of course it is." Then she disappeared into the crowd. For weeks afterward, I thought that'd be that. But when I logged into my website's analytics one morning, my heart nearly stopped. Traffic had spiked overnight, more than triple my usual numbers, and almost every visit had landed on one specific product page, the navy wrap dress. Except it wasn't mine. It was the exact same dress I'd lent Jenna. I stared at the browser tab, www.ateliermaro.com/draft-silk-w-wrap-dress. Beneath the photos, my carefully staged shots against marble backdrops, someone had created a near-identical page on a shady luxury resale platform. The images, the product name, the description, all of it lifted from my site. My stomach twisted. I clicked through. The price was about 2/3 mine. A steal, they called it. Available now, limited stock. The page glowed in neon banners, and at the bottom, a Shop Now button directed to a suspicious checkout. This was piracy on an industrial scale. I called Jenna immediately. Her voicemail picked up. "Hey Sam, can't talk, finalizing a pitch for..." Then the beeping. I hung up, mind racing. I texted Jenna, "Call me ASAP. It's urgent," no reply. I spent the day cross-referencing URLs, tracing web hosts, reading forums about intellectual property theft in fashion. Each thread felt like a fresh frustration, designers ranting about knockoffs, copycats, ghost factories, and overseas sweatshops. But this was personal. Someone had taken something from my closet, turned it into digital merchandise, and was selling my design under my name, without my permission, without attribution, without payment. That evening, Jenna called. Her voice was breathless, urgent. "Sam, I am so sorry. I just found out, someone slid the very next design from your upcoming couture line onto our brand's influencer gift suite." She named her startup. I could almost see her frantic energy over the phone. "They put it in the boxes that went to Vogue editors." I tried to stop it, but the marketing team, I closed my eyes, picturing my sketches printed on someone else's satin, my vision diluted by glossy branding. "You okay?" She swallowed. "Not really. I feel like I'm smack dab in the middle of something I can't control." There was a pause. Then in a quiet voice, "They want to meet you. The marketing director wants you at a dinner. Tonight." My breath caught. "A dinner? To discuss what?" "Damage control," she said. "They're freaking out that your designs are leaking. They think you can help them craft a statement. Sam, you need to be there." The last time I'd sat at a corporate dinner, I'd been 15 and stumbled through my salad. Now my pulse was hammering at the idea of facing a marketing director who'd weaponized my creativity for brand buzz. And Jenna, my friend, had somehow become a pawn in this fiasco. I changed into jeans and a blazer, threw my hair up, and drove across town to a slick restaurant with leather booths and dim gold lighting. Jenna waved me over. The marketing director, a woman named Lorraine, shook my hand with a practiced smile. "Glad you could join us," she said. Her voice was smooth, but her eyes were calculating. I slid into the seat between Jenna and Lorraine, the table set with fine china and beyond expensive wines. Lorraine got right to it. "We noticed some of your designs popping up on various channels, e-commerce sites, social media influencers, even resale platforms. Confusing customers, diluting the brand's positioning." She frowned theatrically. "This is not how we want to be known." I lifted an eyebrow. "Makes sense." She sighed. "We believe these leaks are coming from someone within our company, someone with access to our seeding program." Her gaze flicked to Jenna, then away. "We'd like your help identifying the breach. We'll compensate you for your time, consulting fee, plus an agreement that we can showcase some of your designs as co-branded pieces once we relaunch." I sat back, the chandeliers refracting in my glass of water. "So, you want me to be the fashion police for your marketing play?" Lorraine's lips curved in a half-smile. "We want to fix this together." I closed my eyes briefly, recalling the spike in analytics, the stolen dress, the press photos that had vanished from my site without warning. This wasn't a simple co-branding opportunity. It was a crisis of creative ownership. And Jenna, my friend, was at the eye of the storm. The conversation curved into legalities, NDAs, schedules for strategy sessions. I nodded through it, tasting the acridness of corporate jargon. After we adjourned, Jenna walked me to my car. She was trembling. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't know until this afternoon." "I really didn't." I laid a hand on her shoulder. "I know you didn't, but this is bigger than either of us." My stomach twisted as I thought of the stolen wrap dress, the fake pages, the influencers wearing my unborn couture. "We're going to have to dig through every step of your marketing rollout. Find out who had access to my designs, who scanned them, traced them, uploaded them." She wiped her eyes. "Can you forgive me for pulling you into this?" I hesitated. I could see the hurt in her face, the guilt in her eyes. "I don't know yet," I said. "But tonight, you sleep. Tomorrow we start hunting." I managed a small, wry smile. "Better get some rest. Full detective mode tomorrow." The next morning, I arrived at Jenna's office building, an ultra-modern glass tower overlooking the river. The lobby was practically an art installation. Floating staircases, LED walls displaying brand campaigns, ambient music. Jenna met me with coffees in hand. "My team set up a secure server," she said, pressing a thumb drive into my hand. "Everything from the influencer gift suite, the packaging specs, the list of attendees, every digital asset they used." I slipped the drive into my bag. "Good. I also want all promo images, every CAD file, every email with the printing vendor." She nodded, her face drawn. "Consider it done." I took a sip of coffee. It was too sweet. My mind raced the legal team at my side, the fashion week coming up, the potential titanic collision of my brand, and a corporate machine that barely cared about designer integrity. We headed up to the marketing war room, a glass conference room lined with screens. Slides flicked through user analytics, social mentions, ad metrics. The marketing director sat at the head, flanked by Jenna's boss and the brand's head of legal. I took a seat next to Jenna. "Show me who had early access to the design files," I said, leaning forward. Lorraine clicked a remote. A flowchart appeared, mapping out the asset chain. Design file, brand seeding team, gift suite fulfillment, influencer packets. Under each node were names and timestamps. My eyes tracked down to a single surname I recognized. Harper Lee, one of the junior coordinators, copied on the CAD exports, CC'd on emails to our fulfillment vendor. My heart thudded. Harper Lee had the raw files 2 days before the gala. I tapped the chart. "That matches when the fake listings went live." Jenna shifted. "She's new. Started 3 months ago out of college." "Bring her in," I said. "I want to ask her some questions." My tone was steely, even as my mind churned with 1,000 what-ifs. What if she'd been tempted? What if she'd sold my designs for side cash? Or forwarded them to someone who could? Lorraine nodded. "We'll schedule an interview." She tapped the screen, then frowned. "But there's more." She pulled up another slide. Social media monitoring. Wave after wave of influencer posts, each featuring my signature silhouettes, wrap dresses, blazers, evening gowns, tagged with the corporate brand's handle, not mine. And worse, a series of comments from fashion bloggers. Love this new private label line. Wish it weren't so rare. I scrolled. These posts started 2 weeks ago, before the gala. That suggests someone seeded them even earlier. My throat tightened. And the resale sites, those might be crowdsourced knockoffs from factory replicas. The room was silent. The weight of it settled. I closed my eyes, picturing my designs in random Instagram feeds, sold on random warehouses. My dream, my work, my brand's first glimmer of recognition, it was being stolen, manipulated, digested by a machine that spat it back out in snippets. I opened my eyes. We need to act fast, I said. Take legal action against the resale sites. Send takedown notices under DMCA. And as for the inside leak, we need a confession or a paper trail that ties someone to those CAD files. My gaze landed on Jenna. And I need to know you're on my side. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. I am. I promise. I swallowed hard. This was where my life and my career intersected with a corporate crisis, and I was no longer just a designer. I was an investigator, a strategist, a guardian of my own creativity. My pulse thrummed with adrenaline. That's part one, I said. Though I meant our investigation. Tomorrow we interview Harper Lee. We trace every download, every email, every image, and we kick these knockoff resellers off the internet. Lorraine and her team nodded, programming tasks into their devices. Jenna and I gathered our things, stepping out of the war room. The elevator ride was quiet, the hum of mechanics underscoring my racing thoughts. When the doors opened, Jenna turned to me. How are you holding up? I took a breath. Honestly, I feel like someone just stole my favorite painting, and I'm the only witness. And now I have to find the thief. A grin flickered across my face, wild and unsteady. But I'm going to catch them. She smiled with relief, though her eyes held lingering worry. Good. Because I don't know what I'd do if I lost my best friend and all her genius creations to some scam. I squeezed her hand. You won't. Then I slipped my phone from my pocket and tapped a message to my lawyer. Prepare DMCA takedown notices for these domains. As we stepped into the lobby's shifting light, past the art installations and the digital screens, I felt the weight of my world settling into new shape. This was more than a copyright dispute. It was a test of my resolve, my friendship, and the very future of Atelier Maro. The runway of justice stretched out ahead, and I was striding into the spotlight. I woke before dawn the next day, the city still cloaked in twilight as I filled my thermos with strong black coffee. The meeting with Harper Lee was set for 9 a.m. in the boardroom on the 12th floor, a glass cube overlooking traffic arteries and high-rise windows. Jenna arrived first, nerves etched in the lines around her eyes, clutching a sheaf of printed emails and server access logs. Here, she said, sliding the papers across the conference table. Every time Harper downloaded a CAD file, there's a log entry. And these are the vendor emails showing her CC to that resale site admin. Her voice trembled, but she held herself upright. I took a long sip of coffee and studied the logs. It was undeniable. 3 downloads of the draped silk wrap dress CAD, 2 of the evening gown pattern, and 1 each of the asymmetric blazer file, all within 48 hours of Harper's account being created. The final email chain appended a link to new luxury line preview on a private hosting site. Whoever clicked it could grab my designs and upload them anywhere. Just as I was about to call Harper in, Jenna's boss, the head of marketing, Lorraine, swept into the room. Her heels clicked on the glass floor. Everything ready? She asked, scanning the papers. I nodded. Moments later, Harper Lee entered. She looked even younger in person, barely 23, her long curls piled into a messy bun, oversized glasses sliding down her nose. When she saw the evidence arrayed on the table, her face went pale. Harper, thank you for coming. Lorraine began in that smooth corporate tone that suddenly felt ominous. We just need to understand how these files were accessed and shared. Harper swallowed and ran a trembling hand through her hair. I didn't mean to cause trouble, she blurted. I was just curious. Her eyes flicked to me. I've been a huge fan of your work for years. When I saw those sketches pop into our gift suite assets folder, I panicked and I forwarded them to a friend who runs a small resale outfit. My heart thudded. Why forward them at all? I asked, voice gentle but firm. She looked down at her hands. Because I thought if I could get you some exposure, it would be good for your brand. I knew the corporate site had no clue this was private. I wanted to help you break into more markets. Jenna let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. You stole my friend's designs and thought you were helping her? Harper's shoulders shook. I thought if people saw them on Insta and thought they were part of our influencer launch, it would go viral. And then the brand would hire you officially for the collection, and you'd be famous. She wiped a tear on her sleeve. I was reckless. I'm so sorry. I folded my arms, processing. Part of me wanted to rage, to unleash every bottled frustration, but another part felt the empathy that had drawn me to fashion in the first place, the desire to uplift creativity. Still, boundaries were boundaries. You've jeopardized my business, I said quietly. Design files aren't meant to be marketing collateral without consent. You've cost me sales, you've confused my customers, and now I have to spend weeks cleaning this up. She blinked back tears. I know, I'm sorry. Lorraine interjected. We still need to ensure no further leaks occur. Harper, you're suspended pending review. But we also want to make this right with Sam. She turned to me. What do you need? I exhaled, my mind already shifting into problem-solving mode. First, immediate takedown notices on every site hosting my work. Second, a public clarification from the company that the designer of these pieces is Atelier Maro, not our private label. Third, a co-branded capsule collection release, with my name and approval on every piece. And finally, a donation from their influencer marketing budget to the local design incubator I mentor. Lorraine nodded briskly, tapping her phone screen. Done. We'll draft the statements today, start legal action, and schedule the press release. And we'll cover all your legal fees, of course. Jenna exhaled in relief, and for a moment, I allowed myself to feel the wheels turning back in my favor. A week later, I stood on the polished tile floor of the corporate headquarters, recording a video statement for social media. I wore a simple black sheath dress from my own collection, my hair pulled back so my face was clear. Behind me, the white wall bore the logos of Atelier Moro and the beauty startup, side by side. I hit record. Hi everyone, I'm Sam Moro, founder of Atelier Moro. Recently, several of my designs were mistakenly released in a private label campaign without my authorization. I'm grateful to the startup's leadership for acknowledging the error, supporting the correct attribution of my work, and collaborating on a limited edition capsule collection that launches next month. I'm also thrilled to announce that a portion of the proceeds will fund scholarships for emerging designers in our city. Creativity thrives when we protect and respect artistic ownership. Thank you for your continued support. I smiled, genuine and relieved. Let's create something beautiful together. That evening, at the launch gala for the new collection, Jenna and I hovered near the entrance of the black tie event. Models drifted down the runway, clad in my reinterpreted wrap dresses and sleek blazers, now bearing the double label Atelier Moro Gauche Lumiere and Company, the startup's imprint. The audience buzzed, cameras flashing, influencers live streaming. Jenna grabbed my arm. Look at them go. She pointed to a group of editors, whispering and nodding, their eyes alight. Your revenge is a runway. I smiled, but my gaze drifted to the back of the room, where Harper Lee stood beside Lorraine, watching the crowd with a hopeful expression. I raised my glass of champagne in Harper's direction. She caught my eye, shook her head shyly, and tipped her glass in return. I walked over. You did good work setting this up, I told her softly. The execution was mine, but you helped make it happen. Her eyes widened. Really? I nodded. I'm still mad about the theft. You need to understand the responsibility that comes with access. But your intentions weren't cruel. You wanted to help. She let out a shaky laugh. I'll never do anything like that again. I offered my hand. Welcome to the world of fashion intrigues. She shook it, and I saw a spark of determination in her, the same spark I'd felt when I first sketched my blazer lines. Use that energy for actual design next time. I teased. I'll be your mentor. Jenna came up, wrapping an arm around both of us. This feels like the start of something new. It was. The capsule collection sold out within days, propelling Atelier Moro into a new realm of recognition. My mentorship with Harper evolved into a paid apprenticeship, and I found myself teaching her not only design techniques, but also the ethics of art, protecting one's vision, respecting others, navigating the corporate labyrinth without losing creative integrity. In private moments, Jenna and I would laugh about the chaos. Remember when our marketing director almost had you digging through server logs at dawn, she'd say. And we'd laugh until we cried. Those shared crises bonded us more tightly than any casual cafe gossip ever could. Months later, as I prepared for Paris Fashion Week, I stood in my studio surrounded by mood boards of silk swirls and metallic accents. Harper was at my side, adjusting a sleeve on a prototype. She looked up, excitement shining in her eyes. "Ready for round two?" I asked. She grinned. "Absolutely. But this time, I promise, no more surprises." I smiled back, tucking a loose strand of hair behind my ear. Just pure, unfiltered design. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, savoring the scent of new fabrics and fresh paint. Because in fashion, as in life, the most compelling stories are born from conflict, collaboration, and the courage to reclaim one's work. And as I stepped into the bright light of the atelier, I knew that no copycat, no corporate misstep, and no borrowed dress could ever steal the true essence of my creativity. It lived here in every stitch I sewed, every sketch I drew, and every collaboration I nurtured, a testament to resilience, friendship, and the relentless pursuit of authentic art.